Good evening, everyone. It's Monday night, and my name's Daniel Haynes, and we're back for Sim Race South Africa's flagship event, the GT3 Series, and we're in Assetto Corsa Competizione at Misano. And it's a wet Misano, and I'm joined by Nick Hodgson. Nick, how are we doing this evening? Yeah, so here we got ZRS is currently on provisional pole with a 140.9. I think we can pretty much ignore lap times in these conditions. Yeah, the actual time means nothing, but he's clearly quick still because he's nearly half a second quicker than the second place in Junior McCall. And Morgan McCall very closely follows. I'm just seeing ZRS is struggling on track, spinning it around, so it's very, very tricky. But the McCall's doing very well, and Raymond Mooney, his teammate, has just jumped up into second spot as well. Yeah, I think the Merc's been really good in the rain in general, isn't it? Looking also on board now with Sean Strider and the Lexus, which is a bit of a rain specialist car as well. Let's just familiarise ourselves with the HLQ times from the weekend. Just bring that up on screen. No surprise you've got ZRS. It did take 5 laps to do it this time though, not the usual 3. I think he got disconnected a couple of times, I'm not going to lie. So ZRS still tops our HLQ timesheet, 132.9. There you go. There you see the difference between the wet track and the dry track. Look at the difference, 132.9, and he's currently provisional pole with 140.9. So totally different. Raymond Mooney was also second in HLQ, as he is already this evening, 133.111. Leslie Oliphant, our current championship leader, in third place, followed by Morgan McCall. Still pretty tight though over the whole of the grid, first to 40th, split by only 2 seconds, and this is a technical track, so it's still very close racing.
Yep, it's going to be very close, and we expect nothing more from these third one guys. Everybody is absolutely on point, and yeah, going to be a good race. Remember those all about qualifying, particularly in a wet race like this. Anything can happen, and it usually does when the skies open and get that nice rain.
Looks like,
audio's not good.
Yeah, you sound okay to me, Nick, but I think possibly in Discord you might want to go under audio sections. I think one of the updates is that it's turned on that noise suppression. Maybe just turn that off, because on my side you sound fine, but yeah, sometimes it makes a bit of a ticking, clicking noise and sorts things out. So anyway, we've got HLQ out the way. On the timesheet, let's take a quick look at our championship leader instead. Sorry, our championship table. If I can just bring that on board as well. Championship standings coming up right now. And there we go, confirmation that currently after 4 rounds we've got Leslie Oliphant for Patterson Works Sim Racing is our championship points leader. Dwayne Hall in second place, Lawrence Sterner third, Wesley Ferrant in 4th position, and then Daniel Rowe, who had a good showing last round out, he's up into 5th place. Still a lot to change though, because I don't think those points reflect a drop round, and yes. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Let me go back to the screen and see whether we can pick up a little bit more action while I continue to have a play with some audio. Hold on a second.
Right, so still just 4/10 separating the top three. Essa followed by Mooney, followed by Junior McCall, followed by Morgan McCall, 7/10 behind that, or behind the current leader on a 140.9. Now, I was watching practice a little bit earlier on where the conditions were very, very similar to what they are now. In fact, call it the same, really, call it the same. And a top time was a low 1 minute 40. So I do expect there to be a little bit more improvement in what we've got. So don't think that Zahir Essa, even though he's 3/10 ahead right now, is going to be sitting there on his laurels. There is definitely time out there to be had by these drivers, and let's see what they can do with call it 10 minutes left of this qualifying session, and with quite a short track as well. 1 minute 40 being pole in, or certainly a pole current time, or provisional pole time in the wet. It is a very short track. Is old Misano.
Yeah, let's bring it up. I fixed your audio, Nick, so we're back up and running. Sorry, guys, for that at the start. It was actually a setting in OBS. It wasn't your noise suppression, so you are back on live, so we're almost starting again. But I'm going to start by bringing up the track overlay then of Misano. I have to admit, I think both me and Nick, it's not one that we're overly familiar with, but I don't think the audience will be either, because doesn't crop up very often. I think ACC's really brought it into the limelight. So I brought the track layout for us just to check. Do you have any thoughts on the just overall track layout, Nick?
Well, okay, so this track's very technical. There's not too many high-speed straights. You'll get a few, I'd almost call them medium-speed straights. You don't really get too much chance to build up a head of steam here, but very technical through all the corners. There's a lot of give and take through some of these sections, through some of the the flowing. I wouldn't call it fast and flowing, but certainly corners lead into each other. Certainly 1, 2, 3. You've got to be careful there about your line. You've got to get a good exit from 2 into 3, then 4, 5, and 6 as well. That's also a very critical area of the track. Certainly 5 into 6. You kind of compromise yourself through 5 to get a great drive through 6 and onto the straight. Then also looking sort of 11, 12, 13, 14, that whole almost boot section where you come around, that can really catch the drivers out, especially in the wet. But so look out there as well. The Mercs in particular, that car is quite tricky through turn 13.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same when I did a few laps around it at the weekend. Certainly that braking zone, it's almost like a one brake. You brake a little bit before 13, lift off to just get around that kink, and then straight back on the brakes again for 14. That's a very tricky little spot, especially in the rain. You want to stay off the curbs because you can almost be still just trail braking your way around 13's bend, and if you're on those slippy curbs, that could be a problem. Also struggled with turn 1 as well. It seems to come up upon you a little bit quicker than you realise.
Yeah,
but these guys, I think, will be a little bit more practiced than I was, hopefully. There is plenty of room, though, I did find. The track seems nice and open. Yeah. So I think in these conditions especially, there'll be plenty of space to make passes in probably some unorthodox positions. But big braking zones would be the normal one, turn 8 into turn 10. Probably if someone messes up and goes wide on 12, 13 as well, they're going to be poaching up the inside to 14 braking zone. I think there's plenty of places where you can make a pass here, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely, and we were talking about the surface of Misano as well before the stream started and how smooth it is. Yet the track was opened in August of 1972, and at 4.226 kilometers, it's not the longest on the calendar, but it's not that bad actually. 16 turns and a current race lap record of a 1 minute 27.2, which is actually a DTM car. So yeah, it's very interesting track, very difficult track, certainly a track I think a lot of the drivers aren't a huge fan of, simply because it's not like Silverstone, which is nice, fast flowing. It's not It's not a well-known track, but it's definitely a challenge for these guys. So let's see how they do. 6 minutes left.
I think the surface, there's no way the surface is original. I mean, I don't know the track well enough, but this has been, I mean, I've got a motion rig at home, and I was saying to Nick before the stream started, I was doing some rounds at Alton Park, and my rig was almost moving itself across the room, and then I did a few laps of Misano afterwards, and I thought the rig was turned off. It was that smooth. It was just ridiculously smooth until you hit one of those sausage curbs.
Yeah.
So it is super smooth, and it'll be even more slick when they're dealing with this rain, heavy rain, getting even wetter by the looks of the forecast.
Yeah, and the time's starting to close up now. So here Essa not able to improve his 40.9. No one's been able to beat him as yet, but Raymond Mooney has closed in. He's now only 2/10 behind Zahir Essa. Morgan McCall, in fact, has jumped up. Remember, he was 7/10 behind. He's now only 4/10, and he's leapfrogged his teammate Junior McCall. And even I think Sean Stradham has got a little bit closer, now within a second of Zahir Essa's qualifying or current provisional pole time, and Hannes van Wyk as well in an Aston. Look at that, we have an Aston for BWR. Fantastic work at the moment by Hannes. The Aston's pretty good in the wet, not too difficult to drive, and doing very, very well. Certainly our top placed Aston right now. Sean Stradham, our top placed Lexus.
Has Sean Stradham
fantastic.
changed his car? Because I can't remember him being in a Lexus before. But I think this is the first Lexus we've seen all season, isn't it? I mean, there have not been many.
No, we've had a few. We have had
We've got
a few.
Alan Patterson, obviously, in a Lexus.
Yeah, Endrin Govinder's always been in a Lexus this season. I think Krista Santos as well for PWSR. He's always been in a Lexus. So we have had a few. We just haven't had them running towards the sharp end of the field too often.
But they've been notoriously well known, especially in the early days of ACC, as being by far and away the easiest car to drive in the wet. I think it's been nerfed a little bit with patches in the 2020 change, but it was just fundamentally better than most others in the rain, the Lexus.
I mean, speaking of cars that are good in the rain, the Bentley has traditionally been very good, but right now Tariq Adam, who we used to seeing very much at the sharp end of the field, challenging for podiums regularly, car number 99, sitting in 8th position right now, 1.1 seconds off the pace. So Tariq is somewhat struggling, I think, today. Well, for him anyway.
Yeah, maybe it'll come to him in the race.
We've seen him do that before in the past. It does come to him in the race.
It is difficult when they spent 4 days potentially doing HLQ practice in dry conditions, and then they suddenly drop themselves in these conditions. The adjustment, we've seen it's about 8 seconds a lap difference. Adjusting to the conditions when you've maybe been hot lapping possibly a little bit too much.
Yeah, so that's always the balance, isn't it? As a driver, get yourself into Division 1 if you can, but do you spend huge amounts of time trying to get the absolute perfect lap when you know, specifically here, we knew that it was going to be a wet race. I mean, Misano has been raining for about 2 weeks solid now, so we knew it was going to be wet. Do you spend so much time qualifying, or do you actually put your effort into race pace? Like where you putting your effort and time? Personally, I'm always a race guy.
I suppose it depends how comfortable you're into Division 1, isn't it? If you're desperately trying to just sneak in there, but if you can get in there with only 3 laps like Zahir Essa, then you're not going to spend any other time in the dry. You're only ever going to concentrate on wet. So maybe a little bit of both, I suppose.
Well, exactly. If you're Mr. Sim Racing Masterclass himself, you know it's gonna be a slightly different thing. And as I said, that Zahir has improved his time. He's gone to a 40.8. He was a 40.9, so a few hundredths difference, but he has just inched that bar a little bit higher.
I'm just on board with Kieran Patterson, and he on my Delta he is 9/10 up on his best split so far. This would put him hugely up the field. He might just suddenly jump right up to the sharp end of the grid. Here's Kieran Patterson. He comes across the line. Let's see what he jumps to. Up into 3rd place. 1.1 second improvement from Kieran Patterson. What a lap! Where did that come from with only 2 minutes to go?
Yeah, I thought this was going to be Merckx. I really thought we were going to see Merckx at the front of the grid here, but it's 3 Ferraris. We're in Italy, and the Ferraris are singing right now.
and I've got Junior McCall also up on his Delta by only a tenth or two. But yeah, I took the Ferrari out in the wet. I wanted to like get familiar with these cars in different conditions. I really struggled with the Ferrari in the wet, I'm not going to lie. That back end wanted to come to the front end basically the entire time. And it was certainly a bit of a handful. So you definitely want to be getting used to it. A bit of practice required to master that in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mid-engine car. I think that just says it all. Very snappy, very tricky around here in the wet. I'm sure it's going to be a handful. We've seen Zahir himself make many mistakes this qualifying, but having a look up and down the field, very close.
He's not feeling too confident with his pace, Essa, because he's still out there trying to improve. The gap's not probably as much as he thought. I think you're always wondering whether a bit of track progression helps. I seem to think it doesn't, looking at the forecast of it just only getting wetter. But then we see a lap like Kieran Patterson that suddenly improves by over a second, and all you can do is just keep banging the laps out. Maybe you just find one that get a little bit of extra grit, and all of a sudden your delta plummets.
Well, exactly, and we've seen it in the past where in the wet suddenly some people find time out of nowhere, and Zahir knows himself how good his teammate Raymond Mooney is. He can't sit on his laurels. 0.3 of a second at the top of the field. It is quite a lot, I will admit.
I've got Tariq Adams also just about to cross the line, and he's going to improve, but will it be enough? He jumps up only one spot to 8th place, so the Bentley has at least he's top of the Bentley list, put it that way. And at the death, it's only going to be people that are actually on laps right now that are going to be able to finish as the clock hits 0. There are a few people out on track just going through and not seeing anyone majorly improving. Philip Minar is 0.2 up right now. Might be the only person I see up on their Delta. Dwayne Hall is also up on his Delta, but he's currently in 28th place, so he definitely wants to be trying to improve.
Yeah, should be good room for improvement for Dwayne.
Minard's actually bailed out of his now, so we'll just see whether Dwayne, who's 0.3 up currently on his Delta, could be his last ditch effort to find himself a little bit more up into the midfield. Not sure I really want to be in the midfield with a start in these conditions, but you got to be somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah, you got to brave it, Dan. You got to brave it. And,
no, he's lost it now, I think.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because just a few tenths and he would have been up.
Yeah, didn't need a lot, but I think he's dropped everything. He's still on his lap, but he's 0.2 down now.
Throw everything through the last corner. Give it the beans on the way out.
Yeah, you might as well. No, it's not going to be enough, I think, from Dwayne Hall. He will be starting from 28th position. Unusual to see him that far back, one of our championship leaders. So
last
that concludes...
Tariq Adam. Sorry, last man on track is Tariq Adam. He's coming across the line now. I don't know if he's going to improve.
No, he won't. 0.3 down.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So Essa on pole, Raymond Mooney in second position, exactly like HLQ. Kieran Patterson, though, what a qualifying from him in third place. And then we've got the McCalls always close together. Morgan McCall, Junior McCall, fourth and fifth position. Sean Stridham in the Lexus, sixth. Hannes van Veek, seventh. Tariq Adam in eighth place. Philip Minar, ninth. And Ross Bartle will conclude the top 10. That will be the start for the race. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be on grid and we'll start our formation lap. And I think these guys are just hoping that the rain just lightens up a little bit, but we'll see how we go for the next session crossover. We'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so we're back, but we're just waiting for the server to flick over from qualifying into race trim. So the guys have got a little bit more time than perhaps they're used to. We're on different servers this evening, but it's actually hosted by Amazon AWS servers, so at least they will be rock solid. That's the hope. probably good to get our servers outside of South Africa with Eskom in the current situation that we are. So we'll have local guys probably complaining slightly of higher pings than they're used to, but it will 100% be more stable than what we're used to, and it's not going to suddenly have Eskom turn itself off. So
personally, I would say on the ping side, I don't think we're going to have any issues. I've run a couple of these servers now, and it's been fantastic from start to finish. I've run, absolutely wheel to wheel with guys in, South Africans against South Africans, and it's been great. So no issues there, and I'm expecting no issues tonight as well.
Yeah.
And let's see how. But this is the inaugural race hosting on the Sim Racing GP site. simracing.gp. We're part of the beta, so this is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think we're probably looking forward to a little bit more than the drivers in this rain, but they probably are a little bit more excited in the fact they're looking at the forecast, and there we go, 10 minutes time, rain minus, 30 minutes time, rain minus as well. So it's going to lighten up. I'm not sure it'll lighten up for enough for a dry line, but it's going to get easier. So if they can just navigate these first few laps, it should get a little bit easier for these drivers, and lap time should improve, possibly even beating their qualifying laps by the end of this race, I think. We'll see how we go. 18 degrees is the track temperature.
And remember, of course, it's not a standing start. These guys will get off the line and follow each other around for a lap, and then we will go racing. So keeping the tyres in some kind of operating window is going to be a job and a half around here.
I think it's going to be impossible, isn't it? You get round to the start line, they can only go 90 kilometres an hour. They know they're going to have a couple of laps of getting them back into their window as they sit here in the cold. There we go, they're off on their formation lap, so Essa takes us away, followed by Mooney. Bit of a masterclass, it's going to be a battle between these two. Will they get a 1-2? I know they've had a really busy weekend. They've done a 24-hour at Spa, these two.
Yeah, some of the drivers a bit slow off the line, it has to be said.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about other cars, though, do you, on the formation lap? You can't bump into anyone.
No, you don't, but you do have to get yourself back into position, so, we'll see how these guys manage that.
So who's the one to look out for in your books then, Nick? Who do you fancy? Who do you fancy?
Right, so...
apart from the obvious.
Apart from the obvious, I think we need to watch out for Tariq Adam in 8th. I think he's the kind of guy who's going to have an excellent race pace. That Bentley is traditionally good in the wet. So, watch out for the Bentley. He could have a surprise for us.
Yeah.
Hannes van Wyk, also in his Aston, another fairly easy car to drive in the wet, could be profiting from a few first lap, second lap, third lap, early mistakes. Guys sliding off the track, things like that. So watch out for him. And the McCalls, both McCalls, I can't put a piece of paper between them, but both McCalls in practice have certainly been really fast and formidable. So watch out for them as well. Both should be good in the wet in that Mercedes.
Oh, you're spreading it. You're spreading it around everywhere. You got to pick a favourite. Okay, I'm going to go Sean Stridham in the Lexus. Purely if it's in the rain, I fancy that Lexus. I'm going to go we're talking best of the rest here. Obviously, if I had to really put my house money on it, it'd be Essa. But let's ignore that. I'm thinking Sean Stridham's going to be best of the rest.
If I've got to put some money on someone, I'm going to put my money actually on Kieran Patterson. If I had to pick one driver,
okay,
he had such a good HLQ. I think tonight could be his night. I know he had Eskom power issues, but he's in the race. He's got himself into third with almost no time in qualifying, and I reckon he could be a surprise winner here tonight.
Okay, all right. There you go, chat. So, commentators' picks. Who's going to win? Kieran Patterson or Sean Stridham as we come up to complete this formation lap. We'll get Essa starting to bunch the field up. These two look like they're racing already, don't they, Essa and Mooney?
Yeah, everybody finding their slot. Goodness, a little bit of a cluster as they come around the last
doing
corner.
Burnouts, the masterclass teams in the Ferrari. I think this is well practiced. They're definitely warming up their tyres as they're heavy on the brakes and then trying to spin them up. Come around the final corner as they come ready to cross the line. Essa will soon get the green light, bunching up the entire field here, waiting for the lights to go green as they come up to this start-finish line. And here we are. Green racing. S has got the inside covered. He's got the favourite spot from pole position. Can they all get through turn 1 safely? He's not going to take his teammate out, surely.
They almost touched there.
Oh, Raymond's got into a bit of a slapper there. He spun round. He's taken Kieran Patterson out with him, hasn't he? I think Kieran Patterson's gone out as well. Yeah, Raymond's recovering. This is a repeat of Monza for Raymond Mooney here.
It really is. Tariq Adam already up into 4th from 8th position, so doing very well indeed. Zahir Essa in the green Masterclass Ferrari in 1st position, followed by both McCalls in those Mercedes.
What an entertaining start we've had. Raymond Mooney's thinking, what on earth can I do to have a clean race? Because that's 2 rounds in a row that he's been heavily affected into turn 1. I think that was sort of on himself, though, to be honest. Looking at it, we'd have to get a replay to see, but I think that was on his own. Got the McCalls got through safely, as you see. Tariq Adam, Sean Stryden, my pick in the Lexus, got through cleanly. Well done, Sean. Kieran Patterson, though, dropped back. He's in 7th place.
7th, yep. He's in 7th. Lawrence Sterner looks to be in 8th position. No, he slipped even further back. Ross Bartels had an absolute flyer, it looks like. He's come up a little bit from behind. He's in 8th position showing right now.
Yeah, we just have to wait for the live tower to update, but I think it's pretty much there. Ross Bartel is indeed in 8th place, and with him now with the Grumpy Monkey livery. Fantastic looking livery, that is.
Yeah, really good looking car. Of course, switching from the McLaren, not having a good season was Ross and Brett Crocump, both in the McLarens. They've now switched for the last 2 races of the season, kind of abandoning their championship hopes. But given the disaster that they've had so far this year, you can't blame them. I think practicing for next season, so expect them in the Merc for a while to come now.
Yeah, I think the McLaren does seem to be a bit of a difficult one to master, doesn't it? Guys either love it or hate it, but maybe not a bad call to do the last couple of rounds in a car you can just settle down for next season.
Yeah, so Ross, I've actually spoken to him about it, and he said, listen, he's loved the McLaren in the past, but he just couldn't get it right this season, and he switched to the Merc to, in his words, get more confidence back. So, yeah, that's what you're seeing out there tonight.
So, we've got Zahir Essa, did get away cleanly, still leading this race, but he's lost his rear gunner in Raymond Mooney, and he's got the McCalls hunting him down, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the rain in that Mercedes AMG. It's definitely well suited to the condition. I think easier to drive than the Ferrari, personally, anyway. I know Essa could probably drive a milk float round here and still probably be at the sharp end of the grid, but we've got the McCalls trying to hunt him down in Mercedes regardless. Tariq Adams, though, you said the Bentley wouldn't be far off, Nick, and he's not far off. 4th place, doing great. He'll be happy with that start.
Yeah, he had a fantastic start. I see Erasmus had a spin in car number 139 now, falling all the way down the leaderboards into about 26th position at the moment. That's an unfortunate spin for the man in the Mercedes. And down to 29th now. Goodness, he lost out a lot of places. Just shows in the wet, make one mistake and you're going to really be struggling. Endrin Governor in the Lexus looks like he's carrying a huge amount of damage on the front of that car.
Yeah, what's happened there? He's hit something pretty firmly, I think, to push the bonnet up that much.
Yeah, quite how on earth you can see out the front of that car, I don't know, or how the bonnet hasn't flown off. I'm also not quite sure.
I'm looking for Raymond Mooney. He's dropped back into 16th place. A little bit like Monza. We've got a mega fast guy completely out of position. So he's trying to poach his first place from Oosthuizen. He's looking up the inside and he's going to move it in already. No worries there. Up to 15th. He got it stopped.
That was a tight move. Yeah, I got it done just.
Tight,
Have a
but
look
it's
at the
done.
front of that car, though. Have a look at the front of that car.
And the back of it. I think, look, all sides of it, Raymond Mooney's going to be struggling possibly with a bit of damage, but he is going to try and recover, and he did a remarkable job of recovering at Monza. Probably would rather have a clean race, but he's going to have a fun one, put it that way. 15th position.
The rain gods have decided once again Mooney is not going to have a calm, cool and collected race. It is going to be fast and frantic, no doubt.
So the other car that's out of position is Kieran Patterson then. 3rd place in qualifying, is in 7th. Didn't get affected quite as badly as Mooney. Mooney span facing the wrong way. Patterson was just off track. So he's now trying to hunt down Hannes van Veek in the Aston. Very, very close between these two. 3/10. I was less than 3/10 there, let's be honest.
So close. Have a look at Hannes van Veek, but from the rear wing of his Aston.
They're side by side, these two now.
Yeah, Kieran, I think, has got him.
Inside line of the last corner. He has got him, I think.
Got him. I think Hannes ran very, very slightly wide, and Kieran was not going to let the opportunity go. You see his windscreen wiper absolutely frantically trying to clear the rain away, but it's not halting his pace one little bit.
So your pick is now hunting down my pick in fifth position. Sorry. So you've got Kieran Patterson just trying to catch up to Stridham, 2.4 seconds back. You know what? I'm a little bit worried, Nick. I think he might have the pace.
Yeah, I think Hannes van Veek, though, is struggling for pace a little bit. He has somewhat formed a little bit of a train. Oh, as Ross Bartle tries to dive up the inside of him, a la Kieran Patterson, but Hannes hadn't run quite as wide as he did before, but now he's got that Mercedes right in his rear view mirror, just taking up all of the track is Hannes. Ross, you can see, searching for an opportunity, really look. Oh, Ross has made a mistake. He's made a mistake. He got very sideways, and that's lost him a position. Could be two. The PWSR boys in the Lamborghinis absolutely pouncing on Ross.
He did well to collect that, though, Ross, didn't he? Come off the power, settled it down, and he's back on. So I think he took his medicine rather than trying to plant it. So he's still facing the right way at least, but he has lost a spot.
Look, yeah, Ross is he's a cool, calm, and collected character behind the wheel, so he won't have panicked with that, but it certainly lost him a position, and now it looks like it's Marcus Stain's turn as Hannes runs wide again. And that really has allowed Stain to catch up. This train is really forming behind Hannes at the moment.
Yeah, he's just lost his rhythm, hasn't he, Hannes van Veek? He needs to just settle down. Easier said than done when you're being hunted by a Marcus Stain in a very vicious-looking Lamborghini in your rearview mirror.
Well, exactly. I've had it before myself where, you make a couple of mistakes. You need to calm those nerves, get settled again, find that rhythm. GT3 racing, so much about rhythm.
So just riding on board now with Hannes van Veek, looking through the back of his rear spoiler, and that Lambo's trying to slot itself right up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's a wide car. Is that Lamborghini? It's not gonna find a tiny gap and slot itself into it. But you never know around here. But as I say, Hannes just needs to relax. He's got this if he can keep it cool.
Plenty to go. 1 hour 7 minutes still left in this race. You think you can certainly lose more by being untidy at the start, as we've got Raymond Moody trying to push his way through the field. You just lose so much if you make him. You just want to be clean in those first 2 laps, don't you? Don't even think about gaining positions. Very hard to gain a position when you're already in second and you've only got Esser in front of you. But Mooney now has had 2 races in a row where it's turned into a recovery drive.
So speaking of trains, we've also got Rian Lamprecht, who's got to have probably one of the best liveries out there. It really is spectacular. He's sitting in 10th place. Now, I was watching his qualifying, and Rian didn't qualify as high up as I thought he might have. But I think in the race, he's having an absolute stunner at this early stage. Oh, as I see
Chris Heineke going wide. Yeah,
Heineke's really.
And Van Veek's dropped back as well. He's made a mistake, so he's just been poached, hasn't he, by Rian Lamprecht?
Yeah, so Rian moves nicely into the top 10 now. Was in 10th, now in 9th, taking advantage of Hannes van Veek and maybe even giving himself a little bit of breathing room. Hannes finds once again another PWSR yellow Lamborghini all in his mirrors.
He lost 3 places there, Hannes van Veek. He's going severely backwards now, down into 10th position, and he could keep falling still as he's got Chris Heineke for company.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, another little train has formed here. At least it's behind a really good looking car in Rian Lamprecht, and I hope he manages to get a great result here tonight in car number 991.
Oh, we got the looking on board with Chris Heineke as we've got Lawrence Sterner just slots up the inside. Side by side as they go around this corner. Left-hander. Sterner's had to move out of the way, but he's not giving it in. Side by side they're going to be again.
I tell you what, these PWSR boys, they hunt in packs, Daniel.
They do. They really do. They've got rear gunners all over the grid, haven't they? So Lawrence Stern's actually dropped back. And, didn't manage to make a pass at all and ended up losing one, I think.
it seems like the Astons, despite us saying these cars should be fairly easy to drive in the wet, the Astons seem to be taking a little bit of flack. As I see Sean Stradom now.
It's dropped back behind. I'm just dropping into our picks, and my pick's been overtaken by your pick. So we've got Kieran Patterson has moved past Sean Stradom. Come on, Lexus, where are you in the rain?
I told you, my boy Kieran, he's going to be doing well tonight.
Yeah, he's up into 5th position, and Tariq Adam is the next one on his radar.
So can you see lap times at the moment, Dan? It'll be interesting to see what sort of Essa is doing versus a Patterson, for example.
Yeah, so an Essa's last lap was a 140.89. And
can I just say that is enough for pole?
Yeah.
He did a 40.89 for pole position. Continue.
Yeah. It says it all, really. He's the only man in the 40s. Next best is Morgan McCall with a 141.499. So 6/10 slower is Morgan McCall than Essa the last time round. Essa's getting quicker as well. His last lap was his best lap of the race. Tariq Adam is also in 141s. Junior 141s. Kieran Patterson 141, and then Sean Stridham had a bit of a nightmare. That's why he lost all that time. 143.3 as he got passed by Kieran Patterson. So we'll keep an eye on those times. I think they will get better. Forecast is showing this rain to lighten up somewhat. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Hannes van Beek for BWR, I don't think he's going to have a moment to himself this whole race. With what have we got? An hour left. He is once again finding himself in a train with very close behind Rian Lamprecht still, and Chris Heineke hunting him down. So, like, for the in the top 10, just getting into the top 10, those guys, they're really battling it out right now.
He must think that there's like 50 Patterson work cars on this track as well. Every time he looks in his rearview mirror, it's just a flash of yellow constantly. I think it's a bit unfair in these conditions to have such a bright livery. You and I stand out.
Well, exactly. I mean, how are you meant to deal with it?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of gamemanship there. Patterson Works, next season, please tone down your livery, as Hannes van Beek is already defending up the inside heavily. Oh, and we've got a mistake here, and there's a big turnaround as Hannes van Beek is gone into side of Lamprecht, and really ended up worse off there. Lamprecht is going to recover. There's a lot of cars off. There was a Patterson Works car also, I think it was Stain, that just managed to sneak through there. Alan Patterson's also got his way through, but Hannes van Beek's having a bit of a race to forget, it has to be said.
Yeah, he's certainly finding where the action is on track. However, I would like to just say the big gainer there was one Raymond Mooney who jumped from 15th up to 11th position and is now all over the back of Alan Patterson, of course, the team principal for PWSR in the Lexus.
Raymond Moody's car looks, I mean, it's like he went out with the paint wasn't even dry, because it's just disappeared in the rain. It's running off his Ferrari, as that's got not a clear panel on it, I think. So we've seen a bit of action.
Just jump on board with Raymond Mooney, and you'll see how the bonnet is just vibrating the whole time, because it's probably held on with a piece of string and a prayer at the moment.
Yeah, he's going to maybe take a bit of a repair opportunity when he comes in for a pit stop window. Not sure when our pit stops will be. It's obviously drivable because he's staying out there. He didn't feel the need to dive into the pits on lap 1. Paying off. He's covering up places. He's up to 11th already.
Ran wide there, but hasn't seemed to harm him too much. Got to watch out for those track cuts. I tell you what, as somebody who's actually genuinely lost a bonnet on a racetrack and had it fly off behind me, seeing a bonnet wobbling like that really makes me nervous. I know it can't, but goodness.
Yeah, maybe they need to add that to the sim, eh?
Yeah.
Bonnet across the window randomly halfway in your race. That'll certainly get the blood rushing. But Raymond Moody's decided he doesn't need to repair it. We'll see whether he does.
Patterson on, who's that? Sterner. Sterner ran a little bit wide. I thought Patterson was going to have a move. Didn't quite have the space, speed, or ability, I think, to make that pass. But Patterson really putting the screws to Lawrence Sterner. Once again, an Aston Martin taking an absolute pounding from behind, with
Alan Patterson's doing great though, up into the top 10 in a Lexus again. You see, there you go, in the wet. So he's really enjoying Misano, is Alan Patterson, in his wet Lexus as he hunts down Sterner and the Aston Martin in front of him. We're just riding on board now, incredibly close, as Alan's also got to deal with the spray, the rain across his windscreen. Definitely makes it harder.
Yeah, it's incredible to see what the spray actually does. Luckily the rain's not as hard as it could be, but yeah, it really does unsight you, and that just adds an extra challenge for the chasing drivers. You can see him desperately gearing down. This boot section of the track is so difficult to get right in the dry, never mind the wet. And doing exceptionally well there, but Hannes van Veek pulls out a little bit of gap, runs all over those sausage curbs, not concerned one little bit.
I think the best thing that Alan Patterson can do is to let Raymond Mooney pass as soon as possible, to be honest. Don't compromise any of your time trying to defend, because it's going to be inevitable, isn't it? As Mooney really is hunting down Patterson, got it within half a second.
Is it though? I don't know. I feel like Mooney's taken a while to... I mean, he gained so much with that incident. He went from 15th to 11th, and now he's kind of... To me, it feels as if Alan Patterson is much closer to Lawrence Sterner than Mooney is to Patterson.
Put it this way, Mooney was more than half a second quicker in the last lap alone than Patterson, so it's probably inevitable. You don't want to be losing it to fighting, but Patterson's probably not looking in his rearview mirror because he's too busy looking ahead as he's got Sterner firmly in front of him.
While you keep an eye on that, I'm just having a look a little bit ahead of with another PWSR driver. Goodness, we can't get away from them. Marcus Steyn in the Lamborghini is all over the back of Ross Bartle for Point Blank Sim Racing Grumpy Monkey, and Ross, of course, in the Mercedes, that fresh, brand new Mercedes. Certainly getting a lot of
here we go. Mooney's
spray and dirt.
Mooney's looking. He's keeping a very keen eye on the inside of Alan Patterson as they go through this difficult section 13-14 braking zone, and then up to complete this lap. Alan Patterson's he's putting his car in all the right places though, not being affected by the pressure as yet.
I tell you who's not putting his car in the right places, and that is Ross Bartle, who made a mistake in the second last corner and almost allowed Marcus Steyn through, but Ross, displaying excellent defensive driving, manages just to hold on to that position.
Yeah, so it's Patterson Works Racing that's keeping us entertained so far this evening. And Alan Patterson, he's more than happy going around. Marcus Steyn hunting down Ross Bartle. Had another look up the inside there. Well, we in turn 4-5, and he's taken the place. Has Marcus Steyn got through in turn 5? Ross Bartle's dropped behind him.
Yeah, I felt almost a little bit inevitable, that move. Ross just seems to be struggling very, very slightly. I mean, I don't blame him. These GT3 cars are so difficult to drive. I personally struggle massively with these cars, but...
And in the rearview mirror, we've got Patterson Works cars literally everywhere. Raymond Mooney is just getting past Alan Patterson, and he has got the pass made as Raymond Mooney. Lawrence Sterner, though, has got...
Has he? No, he's not.
Is he not? We've got...
No, he's not. Raymond Mooney is still behind Alan.
Who's the one behind Mooney? Leslie Oliphant. No, it's not Oliphant. Who have we got? We've got another. We've got a car that is... we've got Alan Patterson It's Leslie Oliphant, isn't it?
Yeah, so Oliphant again for PWSR. Yet more PWSR cars.
No, it's not, because Leslie Oliphant is in the Ferrari. I've just pinged on board. Yep. So we've got a Patterson Works out of position in another Lexus, isn't there? Because there's like a Lexus sandwich. We've got a damaged Lexus behind Raymond Mooney. That is what got me confused. If you look, you've got Alan Patterson, Raymond Mooney, and you see behind a Lexus that's damaged. Who else is in the Patterson Works Lexus team?
Oh, it's Chris DeSantos. That's who it is. Chris DeSantos, who's already been in the pits.
There we go. Look how damaged Chris DeSantos' Lexus is. But he got me thoroughly confused because I'm seeing a yellow Lexus thinking it's Alan Patterson, but it isn't. So I've done a disservice to Alan, who is still holding off Raymond Mooney.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job. Now I'd say obviously Mooney is much closer to Patterson than Patterson is to Sterner, but I'd also feel like this whole train is catching Bartle and Stain. Or is it just me?
Oh, Patterson's gone wide there. He clipped the grass. He's gone wide. I think this is going to be it for Mooney. He's got up the inside line.
Yeah, he's not going to let that. Yeah, so Mooney moves into the top 10, takes 10th position. Patterson has to drop back, looking at a very second-hand sim racing masterclass Ferrari there. Number 311, Raymond Mooney. Oh, Alan, that is close, my friend.
He took
that was close.
I think he might have a touch of green on that front bumper if you look really carefully. There's Alan Patterson getting as close as you ever want to be into a braking zone. But Raymond Mooney, he's released.
Yeah, if Raymond Mooney's bumper wasn't already somewhat bowed by other contact from this race, he would have definitely touched.
Just want to give a little shout out to Essa. We do give him a little bit of a disservice because we're used to seeing him chase off at the front, but he has done exactly that, even in the tricky conditions without much practice, because he's 6 seconds ahead of Morgan McCall. So we'll see him again at the end, maybe. I don't know.
Well, he's currently chasing down position 35, Jason Luck in 412 Ferrari. So Zahir Essa is going to be starting to look to lap people now.
At this early point of the race, we haven't been going long, and he's already lapping.
4th and 5th, I look to be having a pretty epic battle. Who's that? Patterson and Adam. Ooh, I think Patterson has just taken a position, in fact. Patterson has my pick for tonight. Patterson has gone up into 4th place.
Your pick is still down from his starting position. He's in 4th, he started 3rd. My pick was basically where he was. Come on, Sean.
It's all about overtakes, Alan.
He's recovering, but he's not going to be happy unless he gets on the podium. I don't think it's Kieran Patterson, because that's where he fancied himself from qualifying. So next up, one of the McCalls. Just got to get one of them, and it's not far up the field either. Junior McCall, 1.4 seconds.
So I just watched Tariq Adam in the Bentley who obviously Kieran's just nabbed a position off. It looked to me as if on the straight that Tariq was looking for water, looking to cool his tires. That seems bizarre to me. Maybe there was an issue there. I don't know. I can't understand why you would be running offline at this stage.
I wouldn't have thought so. It's not a dry line to speak of, is there? It's still plenty wet out there.
Yeah, but the top the battle effectively for 2nd position is really starting to hot up now. So we've got Morgan McCall, Junior McCall, both in the Mercedes for the ATK.
Patterson and Adams are not far behind though. We just had a shot. We got all 4 of those cars in the same straight. And
I'd like to point out that in my commentator's blanket backing everybody, that I did say that Tariq would also be a force to be reckoned with.
I think, Nick, if you name the entire top 10, there's a good chance one of them's going to win. Honestly.
You got to back every horse to make sure you win, Dan.
Yeah, I would like to see your lottery ticket. You just circle all the numbers.
So, I'm consequently a millionaire. But no.
If you are, why are you here? Right, okay, back seriously.
You've got to do what you love. Kieran is all over the back of Junior McCall, and I'm convinced that both Tariq and Kieran are gaining on both McCalls.
Let's take a little bit of a ride on board with Kieran Patterson. He tries to hunt down his first McCall, and it is the younger Junior McCall.
Feels like the first Ferrari we've been on in ages. That was close.
I think possibly that might have been a little too close there from Kieran Patterson. Thankfully, Junior McCall kept it facing forward, remarkably even.
There must be some yellow paint on the rear splitter of that.
I think it's got an AMG number plate on the front of the Ferrari. It was that close, but thankfully for Kieran Patterson, Junior McCall kept that AMG in a straight line.
Yeah, he did very well there, did Junior. You can see how much quicker Kieran is all over the shop of the back of that AMG. Looking to slot it up the inside. Not happening there, Kieran. Where are you going to make your move? Just
saw a little McLaren taking a trip across the grass. Not quite sure who that was, but he was spotted on the stream. If that was you later watching this back, we saw you doing a bit of farming.
It must have been Linda. It must have been Linda who's number 141. I think he's the only McLaren on track right now.
But yeah, Kieran Patterson, he fancies a piece of McCall here. Junior McCall trying to make his AMG as wide as possible as they come through. What corner are we on? We're at turn 10, is that? Yes, coming through turn 10 now. Hairpin coming through. Then we'll come up to the very quick 11, 12, 13 section, almost flat in the driver's flat.
Sorry,
Oh,
Dad.
look,
That
Tariq
was
Adam
so
as well
close.
is having a look in the Bentley up the inside. It's almost going to be 3 abreast if we're not careful between these 3 as they come up to the very tricky braking zone of 13, 14.
Yeah, so as I say, the McCalls really are struggling at this stage of the race. I'm not sure what's up, if they are just eating those wet tires for breakfast, what's going on. But Kieran Patterson, Tariq Adam, absolutely flying right now, saying we will have second and third in one order or another. Thank you very much, McCalls. But
I think
of course they've got to
I'm-
get past.
If I'm Tariq, I've already seen a little bump between these 2. You just sat behind watching nicely, rubbing your hands together, thinking, yeah, you carry on. Come on, Kieran, have another go. Just show up the inside, and then bam, you could have 2 places. So Tariq Adam just needs to be there to capitalise.
Yeah, the British Bentley against the Italian Ferrari against the German Mercedes. Who's going to win out tonight? Of course, we have Zahir Essa, 15 laps in, absolutely masterclass of his own. 8.3 seconds ahead of Morgan McCall, who, if these 2 get past, is going to be under some pressure very soon. I see a blue flag. Does that mean... I wonder if that means that... where are we? Hang on, I'm lost where we are
They're coming up
exactly.
behind.
Yes, we are coming up to some back markers. I think Morgan McCall just got past the back marker of Jason Luck. But this battle, this epic, titanic battle of McCall, Patterson, and Adam is really hotting up. And now there's a
Yeah,
back
you got
marker to
Adam
contend
that
with.
likes to look. He did that the last lap.
Yes.
It looks on the inside. I think he just likes that line, doesn't he? He just seems to just poke his nose out for no reason whatsoever.
It's like he doesn't like rain on his windscreen or something, or spray on his windscreen.
He's done it deliberately the last couple of laps. Yeah, we've ride it on board, and maybe he just wants to show that massive grille in the side mirror of a Ferrari. I have no idea.
But you see why I was confused
Yeah.
when it happened, and
Very
I thought, wow,
deliberately
he's looking
done.
for water.
Hmm.
Right, let's regroup. While that battle's going on, I see Leslie Oliphant is all over the back of Ross Bartle, who's now slipped down to 10th position, was running up much higher up. Another train has formed behind Alan Patterson of Sterner, Bartle, and Oliphant. You can tell that Oliphant uses some sort of bonnet cam because his windscreen wipers are definitely not on.
Oh dear. You've been caught, Leslie Oliphant. You have been caught. Always put them on, even if you don't need them. Because you will
Even
be
in the
spotted. Chase cam.
So I can't see anything from on board with Leslie Oliphant, but he is absolutely right behind this battle for 8th position. Alan Patterson, PWSR.
I seem to
followed by
just think that
Sterner.
we've got 15 PWSR cars, because I mean we have basically been riding on board with a yellow PWSR car the entire race, haven't we?
Yeah, we really have, and as I keep saying, these Aston Martins are taking an absolute pounding. Sterner really, once again, under huge pressure, this time from Bartle, but
Jason
Just
Isherwood's doing all right though, up into 12th position in the Aston.
yeah, he's doing really nicely. Looks like he's about to lap somebody. I think our good friend Linda in the one McLaren that I can see on track.
Kieran Patterson's just dropped back a touch from Junior McCall, still within fighting distance, certainly, but Tariq Adam is almost as close as again. These 3 going around in a little bit of a train. This could come very much down to strategy and pit windows if it goes on much longer. 45 minutes left of this race, 75 minutes race, obviously. Not going to be a massive amount of time before I start expecting to see a few of these in the pits. Looking at the forecast, Nick, seeing 30, I don't know whether that's 30 minutes, what that is in progression times, but less rain.
Yeah, we're certainly looking at less rain as we go forward, although I would say there's not going to be dry tyres put onto these cars anytime soon.
No,
And
but
the
you'd want
question
to push your stint as far as humanly possible, but it all depends on how much fuel they put on.
So the question for me, Dan, is: are you one-stopping tonight? Is that your strategy?
I think it's the only strategy that ever works with GT3, isn't it? Have we ever
Sorry,
seen anything else work with a one-stop?
I always do this. When I say one stop, I actually mean no stops at all. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but that's what I mean. No stops.
Oh, right. Are you doing a
are you
zero
stopping or not
stop?
stopping? Yeah, zero stop. Are you zero stop?
I'm assuming that they have to, the majority of this field will have to put in a bit of fuel at least. I would imagine no tyre change unless there is a dry line, huge dry line starts forming with still 20 minutes to go.
Because you've got to imagine these cars can make it easily with fuel.
But you're
surely.
looking at the forecast now that's just moved again. So we've got rain, lightning, then rain minus again. I'm thinking this is going to finish in the dry, this race. We could have 20 minutes at the end with a fully dry track.
That would be interesting.
That
We'd love to
gets
see
interesting.
somebody needs to roll the dice. Somebody
Yeah.
needs to roll the dice. Pit a little bit early, or time that pit window perfectly and set some blistering times.
Oh, I'm on board with Kieran Patterson. He's hit Junior McCall. He's spun around. Junior McCall's been affected. Also lost a place. Tariq Adams, as I absolutely called it, just went through both of them. That's exactly what I said would happen. Tariq Adams, he sat there in no worries whatsoever in that Bentley, taking all the weird lines that he wants down the straights, just waiting for that exact thing to happen. These two come together, and he's moved up into a podium place.
Daniel Haynes, just like I cannot back every horse, you cannot change horses
Oh,
mid-race.
Sean, you're God, mate. You're Sean. You had your chance in the Lexus, but it's drying out now, and I just love that Bentley.
Of course you do. So we got
I'm
Ferrari,
British. It's the only car on the
Mercedes,
track with a
Bentley.
steering wheel on the right side of the car, for example. I mean, it's a sensible choice. Well done, Adam.
Obviously. But, I mean, 3 manufacturers in the top 3. That's pretty good at this stage.
Very, very good. Very good.
Can I say, it's not a big change, but it is a change. McCall, that's Morgan McCall, has started to catch Esser. The gap was 8.5 seconds. The gap is now 7.9 seconds. So there has been a change, and looks like McCall's all over the back of a
That change
Ferrari.
is gone though, because S has just set the fastest lap of the race. He's into the 139.8, 139.882, which I've just seen Morgan McCall cross the line at 140.4. So there you go. We don't have to worry about it. It's not going to happen, people. Morgan McCall, he's fighting for second.
No, come on. I think it's not over yet.
Esther might run out of fuel or something.
But that might be the case, but also the conditions are changing. So we checked in with lap times probably about 10-15 minutes ago, and Esser had set the fastest lap time at a 140.8. Now you're telling me that Morgan McCall is doing a 140.4. So
yeah, but 139. I mean, like Esser's not exactly. Oh, he's terrible in the dry, isn't he? Esser, I forgot about that. Yeah,
he's
obviously.
Absolutely useless.
Yeah,
but more what I'm saying is that the track conditions are changing and it's getting quicker out there. It is definitely getting quicker.
We'll see whether anyone else can pop into the 139s. Esser is the only driver that's got there so far. We've got Raymond Mooney. He's up into 7th spot, and he's done a 140.9. I'm looking down the list of lap times, and all of a sudden there's a big drop, and it's Raymond Mooney. So he's still quick. Not as quick as Esser, but he's there, 140.9. Slightly damaged Ferrari. We'll give him that'll be his excuse for his teammate being slower. You've always got to have an excuse. And,
so speaking of Esser, of course we've got to jump back to 27th position with Sas van der Westhuizen, who Esser is rapidly closing in on. However, Sas is in the battle of his life with Erasmus in the number 139 Mercedes. Fantastic battle. Once again, another Ferrari on Mercedes battle. But this time for 27th position with Hugo de Wit not too far ahead. And then we won't mention names, but it looks like another PWSR car ahead of that. So Sas trying everything he possibly can now with the leader all over his back bumper. And it turned around Endron Governor with a PWSR car From there, Sass moves out the way.
Got
Goodness,
pushed
it's all
out.
going on.
He's not got enough green on his car, Sass. He would have been quicker if we just put a bit more green, because the other more greener car just ploughed straight through him.
Well, exactly. This is not where you want to find yourself as the race leader, in amongst a massive battle for midfield positions. But he has managed to work his way through, dives up the inside there of, who was that? Erasmus, I think. And Zahir Essa does manage to keep his green Ferrari green.
And I suspect very much that's probably why the gap dropped a bit, wasn't it? Essa was battling through some back markers. If we're really honest, that's probably where the gap dropped a little touch.
I've got to speak for myself here, Dan. I'm absolutely not honest. There is a good chance that this gap's going to come down and we will have a battle for the lead soon.
Okay. All right. You keep hold of your lottery money, I think. Nick, it's safer in your pocket.
Don't take
Adams,
though.
Tariq Adams, he's ditched Junior McCall. He's got 2 seconds now between him and Junior. He waited nice and patiently, and he's making that podium spot his own as he also hunts down some back markers.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly not too surprised. We saw Tariq and Kieran all over the back of Junior, and so I'm not too surprised that he's now pulled a gap. I'd be interested to know, sort of lap time for lap time, what him and Morgan McCall are doing.
I can help you there. Tariq Adams last lap 140.6. Morgan McCall was 2/10 quicker though, so I don't think he's going to be fighting for second anytime soon. Right,
so first, second, and third really, really stabilizing. I see further down the field once again, Sterner is involved in some battling, although has pulled a little bit of a gap now to Ross Bartle in 9th position.
Check the forecast, Nick. What do you see?
Oh, I'm seeing less and less rain, Dan, and in fact I'm seeing clouds in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. 10 minutes time it will officially be stopped raining, which puts it 30 minutes, and then with track progression I think we're going to have a full dry line, maybe slicks at the end of this race. That's my next prediction.
Well, I tell you where there's a good battle is down in 19th position, Hall on Berger, Bentley on Ferrari. This is and Hall gets it all out of shape into T1, but still manages to catch it. That was a fantastic piece of car control, I must say. But he is all over the back of Neil Berger, looking for an opportunity to get himself up into 17th position.
Bentleys are incredibly strong in the race, aren't they? Definitely find it easier in race pace than they do in qualifying.
And actually, sorry, I've just seen that people are pitting. Number 22, Herbst.
Alan Patterson's in the pits. We've got Alan Patterson in the pits. Stefan Herbst in the pits as well. Yeah, Patterson's pitted. That's very early. I think it's fuel. Do you think he half fueled and he just had no choice?
I think that these guys have planned. Ooh, hang on. We have. Who is this in the pits? Tariq Adam in the Bentley.
Yeah.
He's in the pits. I can't believe this. This is really not ideal. Halfway into the race.
I think they fueled it. Just assuming it would rain the entire race, I think you just thought, I'll put half the amount of fuel required and I've got to come in. Whereas now he's there, he's probably seeing the forecast, wishing he put a few more litres in.
Yeah, now does he go for dry tyres and hope that he can make it work, or does he stick with the wets? Surely he's got to stick with the wets.
So that promotes Kieran Patterson back up into 4th place, who has just finally got himself up nestled underneath Junior McCall's rear wing again.
Yeah, we've seen this play out before, repeat of the series. What's going to happen this time though is Kieran going to be able to get Junior McCall second time around?
It's trying to do it cleanly, isn't it? That's always been a little bit of the battle for Kieran Patterson. He's incredibly quick, but whether he can get past cleanly is the thing.
So I think it's a bit of a PWSR strategy, because Stain is also in the pits in the Lamborghini, although we haven't seen Kieran Patterson pit. So
Adam's just leaving now, so he's come out in I think 14th-ish place. We'll wait until it 15th. He's still going down, waiting for the live time in 16th place behind Dwayne Hall. Is Tariq Adams. He's going to want to make sure he's not held up at all if he can help it, because this could be critical for a podium finish.
Alan's Patterson has spun in. He's down in 28th position after making a pit stop, and he has spun it. What's that? It was on the about
towards
second,
the end,
third,
isn't it?
last
14th, turn 14.
Yeah, toe of the boot, and he's kind of struggling to get the car back up and running. Let's see how he does. Zahir Essa in first place, of course, is now looking to lap.
Kieran Patterson's in the
number
pits.
19.
Kieran Patterson's also come into the pits. These Patterson
It
Works
is-
racing cars have
Yeah,
obviously
it's
fueled the
strategy.
same.
Yeah, they've all gone the same way, and that's kind of unfortunate. You want to be able to hang on for another 10 minutes or so, and then bang on a set of dry tires. Anybody who's managed to get that right is, I think, going to profit heavily.
It's
Although
a
I
few.
do
Lambrecht,
see,
Hunter, Heineke,
Yeah.
all coming into the pits. I'm pretty sure this is all fuel related because they would love to spend another 10 minutes out there. I'm telling you now.
if you go on board with Heineke in the pits right now, you'll see he does not have his windscreen wipers on, but you can see how little rain there is on the windscreen. So it really is.
Do you take a punt? Do you just go for it?
I think it's too early. It's too early, Dan.
It's going to be a handful.
Yeah, you're just going to be absolutely nowhere.
What's better, slicks in a wet track or overheating wet tires in a dry track?
I'm going to say overheating wet tires on a drying track, but you're not going to be able to make it last to the end of the race. You've got to.
Whereas
I think
if
you've
you
got to put the
tiptoe
work-
around on the slicks, possibly you can get there. But bearing in mind we've got track progressions and this is going to dry quickly. We've seen it before, 5 minutes and this will be dry.
The only man that I can kind of say might do all right is probably a Tariq Adam, or anybody else in a Bentley actually, because I think the Bentley of all the cars is generally better on its tires, wet drying track, so overheating tires. Although I see
just seeing Kieran Patterson just come out of the pits and he didn't get past Adam, but he half closed up some time, didn't he? Because it's close now between these two. Service is resumed between Adam and Patterson here, as the Bentley's had an extra lap to get his tyres into the window, but doesn't seem to see like Patterson struggling.
Yeah, and just to point out that Tariq Adam in 13th and Kieran Patterson in 14th are the front-running guys who have pitted, and that's Tariq Adam running wide. And Patterson says, "Thank you very much, sir. I will have that position." Oh, but he's fighting back as Tariq Adam. It's just, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen as we go through the second last corner coming up turn 16, and Patterson is already looking to pull a little bit of a gap on Tariq Adam. At the moment, Patterson loving these new tyres.
Nice clean pass there from Patterson. That's what we wanted to see. Got it moved done. Obviously had a slight mistake from Adam, went wide, but he was there to pounce when he needed to be.
So your actual pick for tonight, Sean Stratham, is falling down as he's coming out the pits right now.
Can I please have the admin controls just so I can just give Sean a little bit of a helping hand with some grip? Because my reason for the pick was the Lexus in the rain, and it was. I mean, I had reasons for it. We saw Alan Patterson also doing awesome in the rain, but now it's drying. I'm losing a little bit of faith, I have to say.
Oh, well, I've got to say, though, that actually Sean Stratham's done very, very well. He's now just behind Tariq Adam. He's gained a huge amount of time and overall positions if others are going to be pitting in the current top 10. So, actually, Sean Stratham looking good for a very solid result here today.
Kieran Patterson, though, he's looking good for a podium here today after his bit of a nightmare start. But I think he's probably in a net third, I have to think.
It just depends. I mean, if Essa McCall and the McCalls, Mooney, Stern, if those guys have all planned to do a zero stopper, and then are just watching the conditions going, right, I've got enough fuel on board, I've got the pace to not care that I've got more fuel on board. Oh, as I see Stratham making a big mistake, and somebody's trying to come up the inside of him. If those guys have got the race pace, even with a lot of with a lot of fuel on board, then that's okay. You've got the strategy for when you need it.
God, is that Essa lapping? It is indeed. Essa has lapped all the way up to 14th position, just gone past Sean Stratham. What a first stint that is. All right, to be fair, Sean's come into the pits, hasn't he? So,
yeah, he has.
Yeah.
But
so he's dropped back, but you've jumped up 14th place. Has lapped before his pit stop has Zai Essa. So what a first stint that is.
A pit stop's not 1 minute 34 or 1 minute 38 seconds that they're doing right now.
No, Morgan McCall just got into the 1:39.7s as he crossed the line. for his last lap, which actually matches Zayas's fastest lap of the race. And it stopped raining, Nick. It stopped raining, and the moment it stopped raining, the track looks dry. I mean, it really does, doesn't it? I mean, I'm just I'm looking at the timing sheets. I glance over, and it's like, hold on, the track's dry.
Well, the track's damp. The track is now listed as being damp, not wet. So guys are going to be jumping. I mean, anybody who's taken a pit stop now is absolutely kicking themselves, and it's not no fault of their own, except for the fact, well,
didn't put enough
I don't
fuel
know,
in.
depends. Yeah, it depends. How have you made your strategy? Oh, we've got guys in the pits though. We've got guys, for example, Sas van der Westhuizen is just coming out.
Dwayne
Has
Hall's
he
in the
put
pits.
Yeah, Mark Hennebury as well. And who's that? Oosthuizen. Guys, put flipping dry tires on right now.
I'm sure they have. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those before in the wet that came in. I think Kieran Patterson probably has got dries on as well.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Look, that would be a brave call.
I reckon he has. We'll find out afterwards, but I mean, just judging by the fact that he's lapping, he's 6/10 up on his delta now. We're going to see what his lap time is as he crosses the line for the first time. Not quick, 1:42.8, not quick at all. Could very well be dry tyres on a damp track.
So, can we not tell?
I don't think we can tell. No, I don't think there's any way of telling.
That is
It's
not
really
useful
unfortunate, but I'm pretty sure looking at Kieran Patterson's lap times, he's
Junior
not particularly
McCall
quick.
has just jumped into the pits. Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but Junior
on
McCall's
him.
jumped into the pit. He must be going onto dries, surely. Let's see if Morgan does the
Oh,
same.
it's cut. It's an absolute no doubt that they were going on to dries now. It's just whether Kieran Patterson, your pick, actually did the right thing. And put on, because otherwise he's going to be plummeting down the order later on. I think if he didn't change tyres or he put on another set of wets. I mean, you wouldn't put on another set of wets, would you? You'd have either not changed tyres.
Definitely not.
Or
I mean, unless you get your pit stop strategy wrong.
Yeah.
And you accidentally select the wrong thing or can't change to the right thing for some reason.
So a bit of a transition period of this race now. I got Ross Bartle randomly up into 4th place, but it's because we're waiting for guys to get through their pit stop windows. Raymond Moody's up into 3rd position even. So we're just waiting for guys, the top front runners, to come in and show their hand. So Bartle is coming up to lap one of his grumpy monkey friends in a Lexus that's got the bonnet almost pinging off.
That'll be Engine Governor.
Engine Governor, there we go. I don't think he'll make Bartle wait at all.
So McCall is staying out. That's Morgan McCall staying out once again.
Junior's just coming out the pits now, so
Yeah.
he's on pit exit.
So Junior will be on dry tyres. Morgan, of course, will be still on the wets. And Morgan looking to lap somebody at the moment. Who is that? In a Lexus. It's Sean Stridham in 12th position.
Who's pitted already, to be fair, but yep.
Yeah. So being lapped there by McCall, as you say, who hasn't pitted. So see how that plays out. Right, so everybody's kind of all jumbled all over the place right now. Got to take a pit stop. Everybody's got to take a pit stop.
Yeah, Raymond Moody up into 3rd place. Had a good recovery drive, kept himself clean, but obviously the Masterclass boys, they filled that tank as far as it would go, gave all the options that, I mean, really, in a wet race like that where fuel weight is not going to be as effective in changing your lap times, you would think that would be the right call, wouldn't it? Start with as much fuel as you can, give yourself options in the race that you know conditions can change, especially with 3 times progression.
Brett Crocump now into the pits for Point Blank Sim Racing Grumpy Monkey. And so is who's that? Sean Lario is also in. A few other guys now in. Must be putting on the dry tires. Erasmus in. Oosthuizen in. Oh no, Oosthuizen's doing a stop-go 30-second penalty. He must have cut the track a few times to earn himself a penalty like that.
That'd be quite a substantial cut, or ignoring a penalty to get that much, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or it could be a speeding in the pit lane. One of the
Very
two.
possible, because he was in the lap he was in before, wasn't he? That's almost certainly what it was. His lap before he was pitting.
Yeah,
Brett
that's very
Krugkamp.
unfortunate for
Brett
him.
Krugkamp's was a remarkably quick pit stop. I feel like he possibly might have not changed tyres.
I mean,
Why wouldn't you?
that's-
But it was quick. He was in and out very, very quickly.
And we've had Lawrence Sterner spinning at the third last corner, allowing Jason Isherwood to really close up. That's Aston Martin on Aston Martin, but Sterner's in the pit, so is Isherwood. Both deciding to grab their pit stops now. Great time to do it. Track is still marked as damp.
I said I'd keep an eye on Kieran Patton's lap times just because we were intrigued as to what tyres he's on. And he's not quick. 142. Pretty much 142 dead his last lap time. Everyone around him is quicker than he is currently. So whether he just had a poor lap or whether we are going to start seeing him suffering with tyres, we're not going to really know until quite a bit further on in this race, or maybe even towards the end when he can actually tell us what he did.
Okay, so track has just changed to greasy. So now is actually when the dry tyres should start to come.
Who comes
good.
up with these track conditions? We're going to have mildly moist next. I mean, it just makes me laugh, the things that they come up with. Greasy. What does that actually mean?
Well, somewhat slippery, I would say. Ross Bartle exiting the pits right now, currently in 5th place. I think... Is he going to come out net 5th?
He's going to start coming down as they
now.
go through sector times. Yeah, Ross Bartle's certainly not in 6th position.
Is he not? 7th. There we go. He's in 7th now.
Yeah, so it wasn't 5th. He dropped a couple. 8th. Yeah, I'd give anything for a live leaderboard that's actually live. But yeah, I think he has settled in 8th.
Your pick, Sean Stradom, seems to be out in the middle of nowhere. I think he's probably disconnected, had an internet issue, had an ESCOM issue, something like that. But
yeah, because he's currently in the middle of the stands, isn't he? Unfortunately.
Yeah, and he's gone. He's gone. Your pick, my friend, has left the server. That really is unfortunate.
Sean, I would like to apologise on behalf of the commentator curse, and I will make it up to you in the next round when I will not mention your name whatsoever as a pick.
Okay, so we've got our top 4 who have currently yet to pit. Zahir Essa, Morgan McCall, Raymond Mooney, and Neil Berger.
Yeah,
Look
Neil
at that.
Berger's just enjoying the bit of limelight. He's going to go as long as he possibly can in his white Ferrari and just get some quality stream time.
Oh, absolutely. Coming up against, who's that? Number 21, Alan Patterson. Once again, Mr. Alan Patterson is in amongst the action.
He's been a little bit all over the field, has Alan Patterson, as high as in the top 10, and now he's in 21. But I mean, he's got a few guys still to pit, not many. Hugo de Witt might be in his window. Oosthuizen still showing he needs to take a pit stop, so we got that wrong with the drive-through. Oh no, there's 2 Oosthuizens, isn't there?
Yeah,
2 Oosthuizens, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we did get it right.
Yeah, we got it right, and then the other one's still got to pit from 9th position.
Oh, Neil runs
Peter
very deep into that corner. But running long seems to be the right call here. Really does.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to be a splash and dash for Essa and McCall, isn't it? And Mooney.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It's just, do you need the tyres? Do you actually need them?
Well, as I say, the track is
20
greasy,
minutes.
supposedly right now. 20 minutes, as you say, to go. And if these guys can make the tyres work, you stay out at the moment as long as you can. So what's S's latest lap versus a Patterson, for example, Kieran?
Yeah, it's S is still doing 1:39.8. He was only a 10th off his fastest lap, but I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with, isn't he, with lap times? Morgan McCall did a 1:40.0 as well. Lap times are not falling, but they're not gaining as much as you would think with a dry tyre. So we've got Junior McCall that's come in, has pitted, possibly changed tyres, is now the fastest man on circuit, 1:39.7 his last lap out. So
that's interesting, because I'm sure we saw...
Kieran Patterson also
Morgan
just did into 1:39.9 as well.
Okay, so now maybe the dry tyres are coming towards these drivers, but I would like
S
to
is
say
in. S is in. S has come into the pits now. I think he's going to make the move onto dries.
Oh, he must do. He must do. Why on earth would you stick on?
Because he's going to be 4 or 5 seconds a lap quicker at the end of this race, I believe. Once the tracks move from greasy to mildly moist and all the other versions until it gets to whatever is ultimately fast, there's a good 5 seseconds still in it.
I think next up is green rather than greasy. But
Okay.
that's just from my personal memory banks, and we see Neil Berger, of course, also into the pits right now. Keeping an eye on Essa to
So
see where
Morgan
he falls
McCall is
to.
temporarily our leader of this race, enjoying it in his Mercedes.
And Raymond Mooney temporarily in second position.
Yeah, in a Ferrari that looks like it's desperate to get a mechanic on it, just to give it, or at least a body workshop on it for a little bit. It'll be certainly at the body shop at the end of this race, Raymond Moody's Ferrari, but it's still going around nicely. 140.488 was his last lap.
Yeah, that's not too shabby at all.
Oh, but Junior McCall just did a 139 flat. I mean, that's the fastest lap of the race by over 6/10. So he 100% put on some slick tyres, did Junior McCall. Must have done.
I see Chris Heineke has just made a nice move on Stefan Herbst, who is Chris Heineke, of course, in the Lamborghini. Herbst in a Bentley. That was for 13th position actually. And it looks like Neil Berger has actually done pretty well with running long. He's all the way up into 12th position now.
I've got a reprieve from chat that Sean's race was ended by ESCOM and not by a commentator's curse.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I feel a little bit relieved, but I still feel sorry for Sean. So hopefully load shedding does not play a part in future rounds for poor Sean Stradham and his Lexus.
So I've got another battle for us on track. Marcus Steyn is currently battling with Meibner. And that is for 15th position. Another PWSR car, of course, in the Lamborghini.
I got slightly sidetracked
well.
looking at the timesheets, and I've got Kieran Patterson is literally 0.8 of a second quicker than his fastest lap of the race all of a sudden. So his tyre, he's on for an absolute blinder, is Kieran Patterson. His tyres are really coming into the window. I think this answers everything we needed to about whether he did change tyres. So it was still raining when he came into the pits, wasn't he? He must have put dries on. They've just switched on. He's going to beat his fastest lap by a second here.
Yeah, you can start to see a dry line forming as well. Look at that. You can see if you're on board with Kieran, you can see a dry line there. Though he runs a bit wide through the second last corner, through 15, through 16. Here we go. Yeah, gets the power down nicely.
And we'll have a look, see what it is. But I think it's going to be a quick one. 138.8 Kieran Patterson, by far the fastest lap of the race. So those tyres and that Ferrari is on song.
Yeah.
Junior McCall also up in his Delta. Kieran Patterson's already 2/10 up on his previous lap just in the first corner alone. So this track is really coming in. Ross Bartle 0.8 up. Lawrence Sterner 0.8 up. Isherwood 1.2 seconds up on his best lap. This track is really coming in now.
Yeah, I expect to see the the track going green. Then it'll soon go to fast. We're going to end under almost optimal conditions, I would say, with 17 minutes left.
Sean Stradham's actually in our chat now, and he said that he did go on to dries and a little bit too early, but it was actually manageable. So I think Kieran Patterson must have done the same as well, and a few of our early stoppers probably went straight on to dries, looking at the forecast. You might as well, mightn't you? I mean, you're probably forced to stop because of fuel, but you might as well.
Yeah, Mooney, we'll see where he comes out now.
God, Adam's a second quicker than his fastest lap already. The track is really coming in now. We're seeing a huge track progression. We got Kieran Patterson's actually got the fastest lap of the race, faster than Esser even. He's still getting his tyres into the window, but I think Tariq Adam is going to complete this lap and beat them still.
Mooney, I think, is going to fall down to probably around 6th or 7th position by the time he comes out.
And Junior McCall also in the pits.
Why is
he in the pits? He's already pitted once. What's happened? Fuel mistake? Must be.
No, I think maybe it was a tyre mistake. Oh, that was very quick. That must have been a fuel mistake based on how long he took.
Yeah, he forgot to put the right fuel in. He had a quick splash and dash as Junior McCall. It's a bit of a disaster for McCall 2 nights in a row, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, that cannot be anything other than fuel. That, you know, tires don't take that quick to change.
Raymond Moody is out. Let's just see Tariq Adams when he finished. Yeah, set the fastest lap of the race, 138.5. This track is getting hot now. Zaire Essa is the latest person to be on form. He's 9/10 up on his best lap so far.
Ross Bartle, a fairly large gainer in all of this pit stop drama. He's just gone ahead of Junior McCall, who's got a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pits.
Oh, it gets worse with
Junior,
poor Junior McCall.
That is really unfortunate, but you're going to slip down heavily with that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Ross
I think he's definitely a quick splash and dash from McCall, and in his frustration, he also sped in the pit lane, hasn't he? That's clearly what's happened there. Destroyed his race.
Be super careful not to do it again.
No, so I think it still says greasy on our track description, but it is not that greasy. I think it's pretty. It's developed. It should be moving very quickly to green at least. Surely, it's the next phase, I think, because there's just a whole sheet of green on my timing sheets here. As everyone is improving. Kieran Patterson is coming across the line shortly, and he is 6/10 up on his fastest time, and will set the fastest lap of the race. Let's see what it clicks in. 138.3. It is indeed. No, Zaire Essa, 137.6. The lap times are absolutely tumbling.
So a quick shout out to Jason Isherwood in 9th, Brett Crocump in 10th, and Neil Berger in 11th. Both chaps absolutely playing out of their socks right now. I think their strategy has been absolutely perfect for this race. Both, all three, finding themselves up in positions they certainly haven't been from what I've seen throughout this whole race, and that's fantastic to see. Proper strategies coming off for those guys.
Yeah, so we've got Raymond Moody, who's just, I mean, that just shows you how costly that first corner incident is. It's taken him an entire race just to get up to 5th. Still on his recovery. How far can he go, do you think? I think he's going to end up with a lot more resistance in Tariq Adam, Kieran Patterson.
So I've been looking for a battle, and guess who I found? Once again, our good friend Alan Patterson in 16th is now battling with...
How much is Alan paying you tonight, honestly?
I mean, he must be paying me a lot, because he is once again pretty much I think it's the closest battle on track right now. And we've got that.
He's 1.1 seconds up on his fastest ever time, Alan Patterson here. So he's found a nice little spell in his tyres as well. Goes across with a 139.663.
What did Prius do that lap?
139.3, substantially quicker, 4/10 quicker.
There we go. Oh, and that's that a McCall? No, who's that? Who's just popped on ahead of them? I shall find out for everybody. That is Junior McCall, in fact, who's just served his penalty. His stop-go 30 seconds.
15th place, Junior McCall. I mean, he nailed on for a podium for sure, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, no, not definitely, because of the contact between Kieran Patterson and McCall.
Certainly, yeah, not 15th. He will be very upset, will be poor Junior McCall. He's got the pace, he just needs to have a clean race, doesn't he? Just needs to have a clean one.
10 places out of position for sure.
At least. Yeah, at least. So I mean, you should see the timing sheets now. Esther's already 9/10 quicker than his fastest lap. Morgan McCall is going to set a lap that's a second quicker than his fastest.
Yeah, the track has now officially gone to green, people.
136.1 from Essa, just knocked a second off his fastest lap. So they're absolutely plummeting. Morgan McCall, though, is going to go quicker still. 135.9. First guy into the 35s is Morgan McCall, but it might not be enough with 10.8 seconds still separating him from the leader.
Yeah, there's a lot between these guys, and if you have a look on board with Morgan McCall, you can see just how much he is fighting that Mercedes to get every ounce of performance out of it. Really a lot of steering input happening.
Yeah, but it must be a pleasure. I mean, just imagine how good these cars feel when you've been going around in the 142s, and then all of a sudden you're 7 seconds quicker as this track comes to you, and your car comes alive.
Without a doubt.
So Essa, I mean, he's done all he needs to do. The track's coming to him. He just needs to finish. 11 seconds with 10 minutes to go. He's not going to lose a second a minute. So Essa's got it pretty much in the bag. I don't even worry about a commentator's curse with Essa. So let's jump back. Morgan McCall, he's a little bit no man's land now, isn't he? He was battling with his sibling, but it's not going to be a problem so far. Kieran Patterson is going to probably be happy if he can finish in third, because he's got Tariq Adams still not far behind, 2.6 seconds back. But Patterson, he's pumping in the laps as well, 0.6 up on this lap as well. Everybody is improving. It's literally a wash of green on the timing sheets as everyone improves on their best lap times.
Yeah, with just 10 minutes to go now of this race, there are not too many hard-fought battles right now out
Chris
on track.
Heinecker, get this, his lap, he's just about to cross it. It's going to be 2 seconds quicker than his fastest lap of the race.
Oh, goodness. I mean, to be fair, he is in the Lamborghini, so I think that car is not particularly good in the wet. As I see here, Essa is looking to line up. Red Crocombe for 9th, so that about to lap the guy in 9th position. That really is
that hurts.
incredible.
I mean, for some guy, that hurts. We need to get some success ballast on S's car for the next round, I believe. I will have a chat to the admin staff. Don't worry, Essa, I have absolutely no pull with admins whatsoever, so your car will be unhindered for round 5. Yeah, so the Grumpy Monkeys are doing quite well with Ross Bartle 6th place as well.
Yeah, certainly a lot better than they've done before in the McLarens, so they'll be happy.
They'll be pleased with the switch, won't they? Definitely. I think Brent Crewcamp and Ross Bartle will be very, very happy with their day's work. They've endured that McLaren a little bit so far this season, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's a real shame because that McLaren's such a good-looking car as well.
Yeah, I think it's the best-looking car on the grid. It's a flipping spaceship, isn't it? But for whatever reason, it's a bit of a handful.
Are you telling me you're not a fan of the Lexus, Dan?
Nah, not really. I've never been a fan of the Lexus. Have you driven one? No.
Oh.
No, I've not driven a GT3, but just a Lexus.
But personally, actually, I don't mind a Lexus, given what it is, but it's not very sporty.
No.
Okay, so one thing we haven't seen tonight, I don't know if you've noticed, Dan, but we have not seen your good friend tonight.
I had a look, and I had an extra sip of scotch when I couldn't find him on the sheet, just as a moment of silence, as pure Brent Lindsay Ray in the Jag. Just couldn't cope with Misano. I think my car would fall apart before it finished a lap here, so yeah, probably not his fault. Brent Lindsay Ray, you will be back.
And back stronger. So while we're having a look for some good battles on track, I'd just like to mention that SimRace SA does actually have a 100 car endurance race coming up at Suzuka on the 26th of January. That's a Saturday at 9 o'clock South African time. So if you're thinking about getting involved, thinking, hey, maybe this GT3 racing could be a thing for me, then come along, get involved. We're aiming for 100 people to participate in a 3-hour endurance race. No driver swaps or anything like that. Currently, we've got a good 45 people signed up. And I must say, Dan, I'm tempted to take a V12 Aston if I'm around and give that a go.
I'll turn the volume up and we'll make sure you're on stream. Got to do it.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. What a car that is.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, doesn't it? That was Brent Lindsay Ray that took that as well in our first season here in ACC.
Yeah,
he's just got such class choice in vehicles, that man.
Okay, you need to go on board with Tariq Adam and just tell me what you see.
I'm already riding with him.
It's just PWSR ahead for days. What on earth is going on there?
It is. It's just like a sunset as they spread across the straight.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So, are there going to be team orders here? Kieran's obviously got to get past his teammates.
I think we might have to have a little bit of a how many people can you have in a team limit imposed, because there's just been yellow cars throughout this field dotted about.
You know that magician's trick where you got the 3 cups and the ball in the cup, and you switch
and every
the
one of them's
around,
got a PWSR in it.
You don't know which one. It's that sort of trick, and now Tariq Adams not going to know which car he's actually behind.
I think a little. Maybe we can have a chat, seeing as we know the owner of that team, that they can at least split them into pairs with some different colour choices, because it is bloody impossible for a commentator to know which flipping PWS are. I know he's got coloured wing mirrors and stuff, but I need more obvious than that. I need a yellow car, a green car, a purple car. I don't need 15 yellow cars.
Well, Kieran is certainly in 1, 2, 3, and looking to try to defend from Tariq Adam, number 99.
I mean, Kieran waves at his teammates as he comes round to lap them as the chief PWSR driver.
I mean, I think that's Leslie Oliphant ahead of him, actually. His
Look how
his
close
teammate.
is Adam, though.
Oh, very close. And Leslie's no slouch, so it's not like he's going to just be jumping out the way. Leslie's in 15th. He's not had a particularly good race.
Adam's close to poach Patterson, like right on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, Leslie Oliphant, what, you think he might just slip in and just be a wedge? But here you go.
Oh, here we go.
Adam's looking around the outside. I don't think he's going to find much luck there.
Switchback.
No chance.
Oh, even the Bentley can't ride over those sausage curbs quite so well.
No, they're a bit lethal, those sausage curbs. Corner cutting curbs they are. They do their job. They stop you from cutting the corner. But Adam is close. It's going to be very close. Only 4 minutes left in this race, and the podiums are not finished. They're not nailed down. It is for Esther McCall, but here is where we're interested. Who's going to get third place? Kieran Patterson versus Tariq Adam.
So my point really is that Leslie Oliphant, really quick driver, kind of out of position in 15th. He's, while he's probably thinking, hey, I should help my teammate out, he's going, come on, Kieran, catch me, so I can help you out here, buddy. Because, actually, the reality is Kieran's not catching Leslie at the moment. He's got his ring mirrors so full of an Adam.
I think that Leslie's just struggled in the wet. I mean, let's not forget, he is our championship leader, is Leslie Oliphant.
Yeah. And I mean, that slipstream was fairly big there for Adam, but he couldn't make it work.
Oh, Adam looks strong, doesn't he, in that Bentley?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, in the fact that my first pick has left the server, I think this is basically the second pick versus your first pick. I mean, it wasn't my fault Escom cut him off, so come on, let's have the big
totally
Bentley against another yellow Patterson Works racing car.
Meanwhile, Dan's got the switchboard for Escom and made sure that his second pick gets a good run at it. We've got blue flags waving now for Oliphant. Patterson definitely a bit quicker that lap than Oliphant. Oh, that's almost out of control there for Tariq Adam. Gathers it all back in and has a dive up
inside. What grip that Bentley's got. He's got it up the inside here. We turn 4 into Rio, and it's done.
And Patterson can do absolutely nothing about it. Can he get a slipstream on the straight? This Ferrari should be strong in a straight line. Here we go.
Just mighty grip from Adam, wasn't it? It just took a different line, just stuck. I don't think he's got it. He's not got it. Adam's got this nailed down. Let's have a look at the lap times. 1:37 flat for Kieran Patterson. Tariq Adams was also 1:37 flat. There was nothing, but then that was Adams following him.
And Tariq's already pulling a gap. Kieran needs to be close behind Adam here. He needs to be close. Oh, he gets a little bit squirrely on the way out. And that allows Adam just to pull away, saying, thank you very much. I'll keep my position. No worries, mate.
As the track now says fast, we've got Zaire S has clocked to 1:34. And yeah, he's showing his true class at the front. But I mean, if we carried on any longer, we'd have rain again, because the forecast is showing it in 10 minutes. But this race will be long over by that point, with only 2 minutes to go. I think Tariq Adams just got to get to the end. He's got, what, 1 lap to go? Possibly 2 for him. Might be 2 laps for him.
Depends on Essa more. I would.
141. It's going to be really close. I think it might be an extra lap for Tariq Adams to complete. So he probably got 2, including this one.
So Essa's going to finish this lap and do 1 more.
Yes. Yeah, that's how I read it as well, looking at the clock. So we haven't seen much of Essa, to be fair, as is often the case with someone that just rips off ahead, but with slightly sleep-deprived Zahir Essa, where he's been up doing a very difficult 24-hour race Saturday and Sunday, and then just jumped straight on Monday night here. He's shown his pure class, and is just striped away from the field with a 14-second lead over Morgan McCall, who is no slouch in himself. Has had a good race. Both McCalls have had a good race, but Morgan McCall's managed to keep it clean and not get involved with anything, and didn't make any mistakes in the pits.
Yeah, leader on the final lap. Yeah, Kieran just unable to hang on to the back. Now this is where... now, what does Oliphant do? What does Oliphant do? Tariq all over the back of him.
I think these guys do... They do use voice comms, don't they? I think Patterson works guys when they're driving, so it's possible that Patterson's given Oliphant a little bit of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I don't know how you do that on radio.
Know what I mean, know what I mean? But here we go. He's got to let him through, surely. Got to let him through. Blue flags waving all over the place. But I mean, as I said, Oliphant has no slouch, and there he runs wide.
Adam's given him a good flash to just say, look, blue flags, get out the way.
Yeah.
How wide can you make for it? He has done the right thing. I think that is fair. You don't want to compromise. I mean, Tariq Adams got that position purely on merit. It'd be a shame to see an incident there involving a other team.
Yeah, 100%. And Oliphant's immediately given the place to Kieran as well.
So we get Essa. Where are we? We are turn 14. It's almost the end of the race. We've got a penultimate corner now. Essa comes through turn 15. Going to come through the last corner. Essa will win round 5 here at Misano in Sim Race South Africa's GT3 division. Another masterclass from Team Masterclass gets first place. Well done to and congratulations to Zaire Essa. Morgan McCall, superb as well, I think. I'm well impressed with him.
Coming through the last corner now, really good drive from Morgan McCall. I think probably the strongest drive we've seen from him this season at Sim Race SA.
Yeah, I think it's one of the first really clean races he's had, and then he's had the pace as well. Fastest lap was 1:35.9, super quick. Tariq Adams in the Bentley. You did say the Bentley would be strong. It's actually stronger in the dry than the wet almost. I mean, he had
which is strange.
Blistering finish, didn't he? Super pace at the end to pinch the final podium spot from Kieran Patterson. And as they come through the final corner, and will complete our podium. So well done to the big Bentley.
Yeah, and to Kieran, a great result for him and PWSR. Obviously, he wanted a bit better than that.
As the rain starts, right on cue as we finish.
Fantastic for Kieran, really well done. I know he had ESCOM issues. Raymond Mooney, great comeback drive from him, 5th position. Yeah,
he'll be hoping for a clean one eventually though, won't he? Because that's getting a bit tiring for Raymond Mooney, dealing with first lap incidents, the same as Monza. So he's had to recover yet again. Ross Bartle, we didn't see much of him, but I mean, in 6th, he's there or thereabouts. He's got to be happy with that.
Yeah, great race. Sterner as well. I think at the beginning we saw him quite heavily involved in a few things, but good race for Sterner in 7th position, quickest of the Astons, followed by Jason Isherwood. Look at that! What a great result for Isherwood in 8th, Crocump in 9th, and Neil Berger in 10th. Really fantastic result from those chaps.
What a race. I really enjoyed that. I love it when we have track progression like that, where it starts wet and then we get a drying line. We're starting to question who's who on tyres, and the lap times are plummeting, and we see just different cars come into different windows, like Tariq Adams suddenly building up huge pace at the end to just clinch a podium from almost nowhere, because we thought Patterson had that nailed down.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the it was such an interesting race as well, and you know, to see who's got the right strategy, the right call, stay out late, you know all of those things just came together so well for a lot of the drivers, and so badly for the others. You know, just a simple call like that. Do I assume it's going to rain the whole time, or make a bit of a gamble, run a bit heavier? And it certainly paid off for some people today.
Yeah, superb. Right, so what have we got? It kept us so entertained that we didn't have a lot of time to chat, and we didn't at all mention what's coming up. And I have to admit, Nick, I got no idea what's coming up. Do you know what's coming up next week? What have we got? We've obviously got the Division 2 race on Wednesday here, also at Misano. So we would have had a lot of Division 2 guys watching us in the stream. You've had a little bit of a taste of what the conditions will be like for you. The service settings will be identical. Not to say that you're suddenly going to finish with a dry race, but lesson learned, I think, maybe to put as much fuel in as you can for Division 2, just to keep your options open if that does pay out. But there you go, you can certainly get a few lessons from that. But what else have we got coming up, Nick? Do you know?
Right, so this is SimRace SA, so big surprise, round 6, last round of the season. That will be at Kyalami, and I really look forward to that. The race will start in-game time at 5 o'clock, so expect some incredible sunset shots, really good stuff. Kyalami, what a track. Not that I'm biased or anything, but wow, that's got to be one of the best tracks in the game, and I really look forward to the last round here. For the season 2021.1, that's where we will find out who gets crowned SimRace SA champion of the GT series.
And then other series? What's next week's series?
That's a good point. Actually, we have SimRace, the TC series, the touring cars. It'll be the last. Yeah, absolutely my favorite. And guess what? We are at Cadwell Park.
Nice.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Cadwell Park. I must admit, I kind of hadn't before this season started.
Of course I've heard of Cadwell Park. Honestly.
Being the Brit, I'm sure you have. But
I know all of the British BTC tracks. Come on.
So Cadwell Park is effectively the Nürburgring of Britain, in that it has got hills like everywhere. You cannot believe. It's this roller coaster ride of note, and tune in for that. You're literally going to see touring cars flying through the air, and I'm not joking. I've driven around there, put a few laps in myself, and if you've got only 2 wheels off the ground on a flying lap, you're not pushing hard enough. Honestly, it is unbelievable. So tune in next week for the last round of the TC series, and then soon after that we'll be back for the GP and the Legends series as well. So
it's the final round for all series starting, isn't it? So the final round for the GP series is Virginia International Raceway. You've got Cadwell Park for the TC, and then the Legends finishes, let me have a quick look, Watkins Glen for the Legends.
Yeah, Watkins Glen. I think actually...
No, they've still got Sebring International, round 5. Yeah. So I think they're up next. So we've got Legends still to do Sebring, and then we start round 6s for Watkins Glen. That's where it'll finish.
Yeah, so what I've done, Dan, is I've got a little bit too excited because I'm just that excited for Cadwell Park.
Yeah,
so
you've got to wait 2 weeks. So just for all the other TCR drivers, you've got a note here that Nick's already started practice maybe a week or 2 ago. Thinks he's racing next week. Still got another week. He's got 2 more weeks of practice. So if you can even get close to him, it'll be a miracle when you finally get there. So you've got Legends first. Legends first. Yeah, Sebring International, he'll be terrible at. He's forgotten all about it. So Sebring we have next. It is next weekend, isn't it? Sebring, yeah. So the HLQ will start on Thursday for that one. So it's a packed calendar as always here at SimRace South Africa. Plenty to get involved with. You can do a bit of rally in there in the meantime as well if you got into the Dirt Rally 2 series. So no matter what your poison is on track, you can find something and you can find some enjoyment. So don't delay, sign up. I know there's only 1 round to go, but there's no better time to just dip your feet in the water and do some and get yourself prepped before the next season starts, before we know it.
Well, exactly. Yep, absolutely, 100% right. So come join us, simracesa.co.za, sign up and get involved, guys.
Brilliant. So I think that's a wrap, Nick. Any other comments you wanted to leave us with, or are you happy to go and sort of relax for the rest of the evening?
I'm going to let my heart calm down, but no, it was a fantastic race. Well done to everybody involved. Really showed their class. We saw very few incidents in a wet race, sort of people making mistakes and so forth. So fantastic. Well done, everybody. And we will see you again next time. Yeah, classy driving from all. You're quite right. Brilliant driving. Didn't see hardly any incidents. The ones that were quite petty, quite just mostly drivers. So congratulations to all the drivers. Congratulations to our winner, Essa. Very much look forward to seeing you here on round 6 at our homeland in Kyalami. But until then, everyone, enjoy your racing, get stuck in, and we'll see you soon. Cheers. Go well. Cheers.